want to find that drive and focus that has you locked in and on fire every single day, my book, The Mirror of Motivation, will do it for you. I bought a copy for you. You take care of the shipping. The book is free. Click the link down there. I got you. You are in the best place at the best time, tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, the go-getter energy that moves you to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Putting all this together, what you get is the mindset, the method, the podcast, the philosophy, the book known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, the topic is that it is easier to change yourself than it is to change others. The reason why we need to discuss this, the reason why this needs to be put out there and published in this format so you understand it, is because we all know by this point in your life, if you can understand my words, you know that it is inevitable that you will be dealing with the myriad jerks, assholes, nasty bitches, and others of similar ilk in life, no matter what you do, whether that's playing a sport, running a business, just trying to get into a certain field or industry, just living in a neighborhood. If there's enough people in the neighborhood, you're gonna run into some jerks, assholes, and nasty bitches. No matter where you go, what you do, who's around, doesn't matter what part of the country, what language is being spoken, black, white, young, old, male, female, rich, poor, anywhere in between, you're gonna run into these people. And the problem is not that you're going to run into these people because they're all over the place. The problem is that you can't make those people change from who they are. Who they are is who they are, right? Eminem had the song. He said, I am whatever you say I am. That was a better song. Kanye said, everything I'm not made me everything I am. It's just people are who they are. All right, let's just put it that way. And you can't make people change from being who they are or who they're being in the moment, because maybe they're a nice person, but the day that you ran into that person, they were just being really nasty. Maybe they're being really rude just that day. Maybe they just feel a certain way about people who look like you or smell like you or wear the same clothes as what you had on, and they just decided to be nasty to you in that moment. So that's the only thing you know about them. And let's be clear that some people might think that you are someone in this group. Maybe they think you're a nasty bitch or an asshole or a jerk or an idiot or just a rude person. Somebody could think that of you the same way that you could think it of somebody else. Let's keep it real here, right? So understand that based on your actions in a moment and that person's actions in a moment, that we all are going to make judgments. So today's topic is about how we can adjust ourselves to adjust to the existence of these people who I'm talking about here. Again, whether they're like this all the time or they're just like this in a moment really doesn't matter, because we got to deal with them in the moment as they are. So how do we adjust ourselves to the existence of these people in some productive ways other than just, killing them all off? I wouldn't recommend you just kill people who are like this, because you probably end up in a legal situation that'll cost you a lot more than it gains you. So how do you adjust yourself to deal with the fact that these people do exist and that they travel very well? Point number one, today's topic once again is it is easier to change yourself than it is to change others. Number one, you got to make better people decisions. In other words, when I say make better people decisions, that means do a better job of sizing up the people with whom you are engaging and deciding whether or not it will further your interests to continue engaging with these individuals. So when you come across a person, your job, your skill of discernment is to understand, all right, if I keep talking to this person, if I go back and forth with this person, if I do a transaction with this person, if I get into business with this person, if I exchange contact information with this person, if I become friends with this person, or if I ignore this person, if I fight this person, if I argue with this person, if I mention this person to someone else, if I in any way engage with this person, is it going to get me closer to or further away from where I'm trying to get to? Is it going to get me closer to or further away from the outcome that I'm looking to achieve in this specific moment and moving forward? These are the people decisions that you need to be making. How many times have you in your life ended up in a bad situation, ended up in some hot water just because you were around the wrong people? Not because you actually did anything wrong, but you were around some people who are doing something wrong, or you were just in an environment where it's normal for the wrong things to be happening. You ended up in that environment and you somehow, some way ended up in a worse situation for yourself just because you were in that environment, just because you were around those people. Maybe again, you didn't do anything wrong, but you were there when somebody else did something wrong. All right, so what are we talking about here? This is the law of association. If you are in the room when the wrong thing is happening, guess what? You're in the room when the wrong thing is happening. And just because you're in the room and the wrong thing happened, the fact that you're in that room, that's association. You are now associated with that situation. That's how it works. You've heard the saying that 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. See, this is a skill of discipline. When you know that there are some people who, whenever they're around, things don't go the way that you would want things to go for you, that means you got to be smart enough, disciplined enough, wise enough, mentally tough enough, confident enough to stay away from that situation, to stay away from a situation where the wrong thing could happen. Not after it happens, then say, damn, I shouldn't have been there. No, it's before the wrong thing happens. You got to decide, you know what? I don't think anything that could help me is going to happen in this room. So I probably should excuse myself from this room before the wrong thing happens. I probably should not even go into this room before the wrong thing happens in this room, because it just feels like the wrong thing is going to happen. This is a skill of discernment. Discernment is your ability to solve mysteries. If you're not familiar with the phrase and you maybe are looking for you're asking how do I actually do this? Discernment is your ability to look at a situation in which there are some question marks, in which there are no black and white answers, and you're able to look at the situation and say, even though nobody's telling me this specifically, even though it's not written on a piece of paper, even though it's not stapled to anybody's forehead, something about this situation tells me. And then you fill in the blank with whatever your instincts are telling you. That's your skill of discernment. And based on what your instincts are telling you, based on what you discern from that situation, you make a wise choice. That's what the skill of discernment means. It means looking in a situation and seeing what's not being said, seeing what's not obvious to everybody else, and then making a smart decision because of it. People who lack the skill of discernment are those who end up in a bad situation, and then you ask them what happened, how they ended up in such a bad situation, and they will give you some version of, I didn't do anything, but I was in the wrong place. I didn't do anything, but I was standing next to somebody who did do something. I didn't do anything, but I've been implicated in this situation. This is all of those excuses, or if you want to call them reasons for how you ended up in a bad situation. These are all related to the law of association. They all go under the umbrella of the law of association. When you associate with dogs, you wake up with fleas, is how the saying goes. 1 ounce of prevention, ladies and gentlemen, is worth a pound of cure. So when you find that you are around a person who has bad energy, you're around a person who it seems like no matter what you do involving this person is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. It seems like every time this person is around, something not good happens to them and whoever is associating with them. You got to be smart enough, disciplined enough to get away from that situation. That's your responsibility, not theirs, yours. This is one way that you make better people decisions. That's what this first point is. Let's move on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, it's easier to change yourself than it is to change others. Understand that other people don't think how you think. In other words, how you would respond to a certain situation is not written in stone. It's not written on a stone tablet. It's not one of the 10 commandments how you will respond to a certain situation, which means nobody else has to follow the same protocol that you would follow. Now, maybe it would benefit them if they followed your protocol. Maybe you think it's the right way to respond to those situations, to do things the way that you would do things. And maybe you're right. Maybe you could prove it scientifically. Maybe if you did a blind study, you could probably prove that your way of responding to a situation is the best way, the right way, the way that would most get people closer to where they want to go. You may be 100% right, but understand this. Something else is 100% right. Other people don't think how you think, nor do they need to. And nor are they wrong to think the way that they think. And it can be 100% different from how you think. 180-degree difference from how you think. People are not you. Nobody follows your rules. So if and when someone acts or responds in a way that is different from how you would act or respond, you should not be caught by surprise by this, because they're not you. So it shouldn't shock you. You shouldn't be blown away. You shouldn't get exasperated. You shouldn't argue, and you shouldn't get angry or any other unproductive emotion when somebody else does something that you're like, man, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't think like that. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have reacted that way. I wouldn't have responded this way. If that happened to me, I would have blank, blank, blank. Well, understand that it's not you. That other person, whoever they are, they could be someone you've known for years. They could be someone you just met 10 seconds ago. They're not you. So don't expect them to respond how you respond. So when people respond the way that they respond, was not the same as the way that you would respond, this shouldn't shock you. This shouldn't surprise you. You should look at it, shouldn't surprise you. You can look at it and understand, appreciate the fact that everybody ain't the same and everybody ain't you. Listen, I know people who are aspiring basketball players, but they are also smokers. They smoke. They like to smoke weed, sometimes cigarettes. Not these days, but in my playing days, I knew people in this position who fit that description. They like to smoke, but they also like to play basketball, and they want to get better at basketball. But there was a limit to how far they could go in basketball. Why? Because their lungs were unhealthy, because they were always smoking, right? We all understand that to play basketball, which is a sport of running more than the sport of dribbling and shooting, you got to be able to run up and down that court. You're gonna need a strong heart. And you're gonna need strong lungs. You can take in as much oxygen as possible and process it and give energy to your muscles and blood flow and all that scientific stuff. Smoking probably doesn't help you play basketball. Let's just keep it that simple, right? Everyone understands that. So I could look at them and think to myself, well, why don't you just stop smoking? You want to get better at basketball. You want to be in better shape. You want to stop, coughing up one of your lungs every time we do a running drill. Then how about you stop smoking every day? Stop smoking 3 blunts every afternoon, and you probably be in better shape for basketball. You'd be a better player just off that alone, because that's what I would do. I could easily think that. I could easily say that to somebody, but that's exactly the point. That person is not me. All right, they made the decision that they made because they're not me, because this is the way that they think. I make the decisions that I made because I'm me, and that's the way that I think. And you make the decision that you make because you're you, and that's the way that you think. Do not expect other people to be like you. So this whole topic that we're talking about here today, that it's easier to change yourself than it is to change others. Don't get upset with people when they don't have the same mindset as you, when they don't make the same decisions, when they just don't have the same principles, they don't value the same things that you value, they don't understand certain concepts that you understand, concepts that you may think are pivotal to your success in life and would be pivotal to other people's success. If they don't seem to understand them and they are not moving, they're not acting as if they appreciate those principles, don't be mad at them for it. Why? Because they don't have the same consciousness as you. They haven't been exposed to the same information. They haven't taken it in, obviously, the same way that you've taken it in. So it'd be much easier for you to just look at that person and make your own decisions about yourself than it would be for you to try to convince that person or chastise that person or criticize that person into changing the way that they think, because that is probably going to fail. I'm telling you right now that that's a losing proposition, to try to tell someone else that the way that you think and the way that you see things is the right way of thinking and the right way of seeing things and the right way of acting. This is something that I've said many times here on the show, is that the purpose of this show is not for me to give you a prescription. I'm not here to tell you what you're supposed to do. I'm not here to tell you, hey, this is what I did, so that means this is what you should do. I'm going to tell you what I've done. I'm going to tell you what I know other people have done, what other people have been through, what I've been thinking, why I think it. I'll give you solid reasons for why my position is my position, why I have certain opinions, why I took certain actions, whether I believe they were right or wrong in the moment and or in hindsight. But you have to decide. I'm going to present all the information to you. You got to decide what to do with it. Okay, I'll provide you all the ingredients, but you got to bake the cake. I'm going to give you the crock pot. I'll show you how to set the oven. I'm going to tell you what ingredients you need. I'll provide you with all the ingredients. You still got to put everything together, mix the batter up, and put the cake in the oven and take it out at the right time. All right, you still got to do that. And then you got to put the icing on at the end. All I'm presenting to you here is I'm not trying to convince you to think the way that I think. Why? Because you're not me. That wouldn't make any sense. I'd much rather, instead of you thinking the way that I think, the world would be very boring if we all thought the exact same way. All right. What I want you to do is take what I'm sharing, ask yourself, process it, and ask yourself, how does this information, this knowledge, this experience, this suggestion, whatever you want to label it, how does this apply to me? How can I apply this in my way, based on who I am, based on my life, my situations, my circumstances, my opportunities, my strengths and weaknesses? How can I apply this stuff and make it work for me? I'm not trying to get you to be just like me, because if that was what was happening, then this show wouldn't be too interesting. Because then all you would start working on your game podcast. You'd be doing the same thing I'm doing. Then the audience would be gone. So I don't want you to think how I think. I just want you to take what I'm giving you and see how it applies. And it's the same thing that you can do when you're dealing with other people. All right, when you see someone who's not thinking the way that you're thinking, even though you think your idea is the best one in the world, don't try to convince them. If they really want what you have, they'll come and get it from you because they obviously can see that you got it, right? Point number 3. Today's topic is it is easier to change ourselves than it is to change other people. It's damn near impossible to change other people, but it's easy for us to change us. Point number 3, choose wisely. So I talked in point number 1 about making better people decisions. Choosing wisely means it is easier in life for you to get around a whole bunch of the right people than to try to change the wrong people. Let me say that one more time. This is a key concept right here. Any of you who is right now, you find yourself struggling when it comes to your relationships. And when I say struggling, I don't mean you're having trouble making relationships. And I'm talking intimate relationships, friendships, business partnerships, team relations, all of this. Any kind of dealings with other people. You're struggling in your dealings with other people, you need to listen to what I'm saying right here. If you're struggling to get around the kind of people you want to be around, if you find yourself around too many of the wrong people, if you're finding that whenever you're trying to engage with people, they just seem to not be responsive to what offers you're making to them, listen to this sentence one more time. It is much easier to position yourself around the right people than it is to try to change the wrong people. So if right now your circle could be 2 people, it could be 20, it could be 50. If your circle are a bunch of people who, by your estimation, by your skill of discernment, you've decided that these are not the right type of people to be around. Here's an easy way to know if you're around the right type of people. Do they have what you want? If the answer is no, you're around the wrong people. If the answer is yes, then you're around the right people. And they may not be 100% have what you want, but there may be some elements of them that you would like to get a little bit more of, then those are the people you need to be around. If you can't identify anything another person has that you want, then you should not be investing time into that person. Simple as that. So if you look around at the people that you spend the most time around right now, because we know that's what the law of association is, right? You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Doesn't matter how many it is. Could be 5, could be 50, could be 2. It is much easier for you to get away from them, abandon those people, and go find some people who are doing the right thing. Some people who do have what you want. Some people who are at the level that you want to get to. Go find those people and earn your way into that circle. That'll take you much less time, much less effort, money, energy, attention. It'll take much less of your resources to get into that circle than it will be for you to stay around a bunch of the wrong people and convince them to change and become the right type of people. Become the type of people you want them to be. Now, that's damn near impossible. Right? People are going to be who they are. For the most part, people are who they are. People do not change. Not that much. I mean, we change over time, but we don't change that much. Someone who you haven't seen in 10 years is still the same person today that they were 10 years ago the last time that you saw them. They may look a little bit different. They may dress differently. They may talk even a little bit differently. Maybe they have a whole different circle of people around them. But at their core, the essence of that person is still the exact same individual. You right now are the same person now that you were 10 years ago. You're the same person. The essence of you is the same. Now, your surroundings may have changed. Your window dressing may have changed. Your presentation may have changed. You may have elevated yourself in certain aspects and lowered yourself in other aspects, but you are still the same individual. I'm telling you that for you to understand that the people who you're around right now and you've assessed that they are the wrong type of people, they will still be the wrong people next year. They're still going to be the wrong people tomorrow. They're still going to be the wrong people next week. Now, you can try as hard as you wish to adjust and change and make those people be different and fix those people, so to speak, to become the type of people that you think they need to be. They are not going to change. Definitely not by your coaxing. You're not going to harangue them into changing into the type of people that you want them to be. If they make that type of qualitative change, it'll be on their own volition. It won't be because of you. Maybe they'll use you as an example, but they still had to make the decision to make the change. You trying to force them into it, well, most of the time will make them more resistant to it than anything. So you might as well just forget about that. And I'll tell you, in point number 4, I'm going to give you some more just on that point when it comes to trying to change people and make people better and help people get to that next level. If you think they have the potential to get there, I'm going to tell you something about that you need to understand. But I want you to understand this point here, point number 3, we're still on. This one is not as simple as it sounds on the surface, because here's why. There are some people out there who are at their essence the right type of people. They do exist. That right type of person is within them. The problem is right now they are disguised. They're dressed up as the wrong type of person. They have it in them to be that right type that you want to be around. But right now, the way they're presenting themselves, the energy that they have, the way they conduct themselves, the actions that they take, their habits, everything is all wrong. But the right is inside of them. So what do you do with that? And the reason why the reason why they are presenting themselves as the wrong type of person right now, by your estimation, is because of bad influences. They got the wrong people around them because of ignorance. Ignorance meaning you don't know something. There's a lot of things that they don't know. And because of the environment. They are around the wrong types of people, places, things, energies, reinforcements that are all making them be the wrong type of person right now. But if we change all those things, change their influences, change their environment, educated them, say we're no longer ignorant, they will become the right type of person. So some people can be right and wrong at different points in their lives. And the only way they're going to get all that wrong off of them and become that right type of person that they are at their essence is if someone, maybe me, maybe you, would just show them the way. Then they would learn that they have higher potential than what they've been currently showing. I 100% believe in this whole theory that I just gave you right there. There are a lot of people out there who are looking like the wrong type of person on the surface, but they would be the right type of person if only someone would just make some type of investment in them. So it depends on your perspective what you would do with this person, because there's some people out there who like to go find these wrong people and pull them up, dress them up, fix them up, get rid of all that wrong stuff and replace it with more of the right stuff, or help them bring out more of the right stuff because it's already within them. It's not like you're giving it to them. It's already in them. They just need somebody to help pull them out of the wrong and show them the light of the right. There are some people who like to do that. There are other people who, on the other hand, they like to go straight to the top. They like to go find more of the right people, associate with those right people, and then they just let you know. While they're there with the right people, they let you know. They send you a message, they text you, they call out to you, and they see you across the street, and they let you know, look, you could join us over here if you want to. But they're not going to push and pull you to come over there. They're going to let you know you can, but you're going to have to come over there if you want to. There are some people who will go across the street and get your ass and bring you to the right place. And there's some people who stand at the right place, wave to you from across the street and let you know, look, if you want to, you can come over here. Now, me, I reside a little bit in the middle. I'm a little bit more in the middle on this one. So that leads me to point number 4. Today's topic is, it is much easier to change yourself than it is to change others. The rule that I use, and I've spoken about this before, this is the 51-49 rule. I may do a whole episode on this rule alone. The 51-49 rule goes as follows. If you are trying to help another person get from where they are to where they want to be in any way, whether this be tangibly, career-wise, fitness-wise, financial-wise, energy-wise, thinking-wise, intelligence-wise, knowledge-wise, if you want to help another person get to where they want to go, the rule is 51-49. That person needs to do at least, at minimum, 51% of the work to get there. You do no more, maximum 49% of the work. Why? Because with the 51-49 rule, that other person, the person who actually has the goal, they have to do the majority of the work. They are the majority owner in their life, in their business, in their career, in their education, and their whatever they're trying to do. They are always the majority stakeholder. You do not take 51%. You don't become the majority stakeholder. You're not even an equity part. You're not even 50-50. No, it's not equal. No equality here. 49% is the most that you do. They got to do the other 51, and you got to let them know. And some of us go at different levels with this, depending on who you're dealing with. That 51-49 can be stretched. In other words, you never go as high as 49, but you don't have to go as high as 49. 49% is a lot of work. It's a lot of effort to be a 49% stakeholder in something. That's damn near half the work. I actually prefer the 90-10 rule. Any of you seen the movie Hitch? Remember what Will Smith said to that? I forget that actor's name, but Will Smith with the actor. If you didn't see the movie, it was really simple. Will Smith was showing this guy, he was a dating coach, Will Smith in the movie. He was showing his client how you get a kiss at the end of a date. And Will said, this is what you should look for. The woman, well, he said the man, you come 90% of the way. So when you and the woman are standing there face to face, you lean in 90% of the distance between you and her. 90% you cover it, and then you let her come the other 10%. If she doesn't come the other 10%, that means she's not interested in the kiss, and you need to just say goodnight, shake hands, and go home. If she comes the other 10%, then you can kiss her. But you don't go the whole 100. You got to let her come the other 10. And it's the same thing with you. If you want to help somebody get to the next level, you come 10%, they got to come 90%. And they must come first. They got to come 90% to you, then you show them the other 10%. All right, so you become the woman, they're the man. They got to pursue you. If you know someone who wants to get to the level that you're at, you're somewhere where they want to be, you have something that they want, they got to do 90% of the work, and then you give them the other 10%. They're not willing to do 90%, they don't really want it, and you got to let them go. Wherever they're going to go, you got to let them get there. So let's recap today's topic. You do the majority of the last thing on point number 4 is that the majority of the work is done by the person who wants to help, and you don't start helping them till they start helping themselves, and not a minute sooner. As we recap, the topic is, it is easier to change yourself than it is to change others. In life, it is inevitable. You're going to deal with people who you just don't get along with, and people who don't get along with you. They feel some type of negative way towards you for whatever reason, in the moment or in life in general. The topic here today is how we can adjust ourselves to adjust to the existence of these folks in some productive ways. Point number 1, make better people decisions. In other words, you must sharpen your skill of discernment in sizing up a person, sizing up places, sizing up situations, and knowing, is this person, place, situation, environment thing, is this going to help me get closer to where I want to be, or is it going to move me further away? You must make that decision, and often in life, you're going to have to make this decision quickly. This is all about the law of association. How many times have you yourself, or maybe someone you've known, got into a bad situation in life, not because they did something bad, but because they made the mistake of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or hanging with the wrong people, or getting their name associated with the wrong situation? This is the law of association in action. If you were in the room when the wrong thing is happening, that means you were in the room when the wrong thing was happening. Why were you in the room in the first place? That's a mistake that you made. It's not them, it's you. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Point number 2, people do not think how you think. Don't expect others to think the way that you do, or to react or respond the way that you do, or have the same principles or the same ideas as you, because what you would do is what you would do. That's not what they would do. That's why they are they and you are you. And point number 3, choose wisely. It's easier to get around the right people, and stay there than to try to get around the wrong people and turn them into the right people. That's a very hard task, to turn people around from who they are to what you want them to be, especially if they don't want to be it. That's impossible. You're never going to get them there. This one is not as simple as it sounds, because there are some people out there who are dressed up as the wrong people, but at their essence, they are the right people. So the question is, are you the type of person who goes and tries to grab people out of the wrong and pull them into the right? It takes a lot of work. It's a very selfless task. Or are you the type of person who goes and stands where the right space is and let them know, look, if you want to, you can come over here. Me, I'm somewhere in between. The rule is 51-49. That's the minimum and maximum. 51% is the minimum amount of effort given by a person who wants to do something. You have a goal, you must do a minimum of 51% of the work, maximum of 100%. And if you are the person who is being asked to help another person, you are limited to doing a maximum of 49% of the work. That other person, the person who wants to help, must always be the majority stakeholder when it comes to effort, energy, time, attention, focus invested into what they want. Me, I like the 90-10 rule. The person who wants to help has to do 90% of the work. The other person does 10%. And you start helping people. You, the helper individual, you start helping people when they start helping themselves. When they are proving that they're willing and able, and they are doing the majority of the work. And you do not help anyone a minute sooner. Now, I've been telling y'all for a long time about the gang group membership. The gang group is officially open. If you go to workonmygang.com/game group, you will see everything that's available in the game group. 6 courses that are game group exclusive. You cannot take these courses anywhere else. You cannot buy these courses. They are only available in the game group. Every single episode in the history of the Work on Your Game podcast is not available anywhere other than in the game group. You cannot go back to episode number 900 right now anywhere online. You can't find episode number 663 anywhere online. You cannot find episode number 2 or episode number 17 or episode number 97 anywhere online. The only place is as a member of the game group, and that's 1,300 plus episodes, all available as a member of the game group. A ton of other stuff. We're going to have monthly live calls with me live, where you get to ask questions. Your questions will get answered. There'll be a topic that we address, of course. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in the game group. You're going to hear about it as soon as I finish talking. And you can go to workonmygang.com/game group right now. Get all the information about the game group. And I'm going to tell you one more thing about it. You can get a free trial. 14-day free trial costs you absolutely nothing. Try the game group out. See what it's about. See what we're offering. See everything that you get in there. And then you'll know. I don't have to say nothing else. Work on your game. Dre all day.